Listen closely. Every single person who ever made history, disrupted an industry, built an empire, or transformed their life started with one idea. Why not me? But today, I want to take that mindset somewhere entirely different. I want you to upgrade that thought, evolve it, sharpen it like a blade. Why not you too? Zero. Not the older version of you, not the hesitant, doubtful, second-guessing version. I'm talking about the upgraded, recalibrated, undeniable version of you, the one the world has not met yet. Because here's the truth, most people don't fail because they lack talent, intelligence, opportunity, or resources. They fail because they talk themselves out of becoming who they're capable of being. They operate like outdated software running on old beliefs, old habits, old fears. They're using version 1. Zero of themselves in a world demanding 2. Zero. So ask yourself, what does the 2? Zero version of you look like? Is it someone who walks differently, thinks differently, makes decisions faster, speaks with conviction, acts without hesitation, someone who no longer negotiates with excuses, someone who no longer accepts average as a lifestyle? Version 2. Zero isn't just a wish. It's a decision. It's a line in the sand. It's a moment where you declare, I'm done living below my potential. From this point forward, every choice you make either upgrades your life or delays your destiny. There is no neutral choice. You are either evolving or dissolving, progressing or regressing, rising or rotting. The world isn't waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to decide. Some of you are one disciplined decision away from changing your entire legacy. But you hesitate because you think someone else deserves it more. Someone else is smarter, luckier, richer, prettier, more connected. Let me tell you something. No one is more deserving than the person who refuses to quit. No one is more deserving than the one who shows up. No one is more deserving than the one who builds themselves from nothing. Why not you? Why not be the one who breaks generational patterns? Why not be the one who becomes financially bulletproof? Why not be the one who inspires millions? Why not be the one who leaves a dent in the universe? Your competition isn't someone else, it's who you were yesterday, version 2. Zero destroys that person, version 2. Zero wakes up before the alarm. Version 2. Zero doesn't complain, he calculates, she doesn't wait. She creates, version 2. Zero knows that the world crowns the courageous, not the curious. People will doubt you, let them. People will underestimate you. Perfect. People will talk behind your back. Excellent. That's exactly where they belong. Behind you. Don't spend your life convincing the doubters. Spend your life proving yourself right. The difference between winners and watchers is simple. Watchers hope. Winners upgrade. Watchers wish. Winners act. Watchers ask for permission. Winners build their own table. Look at your life right now. Look at your habits, your relationships, your standards. Everything around you is a reflection of the version of you that built it. If you don't like what you see, upgrade the architect. Stop telling the world what you're going to do. Do it. Stop waiting for motivation. Manufacture it. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Create it. The 1, 0 version of you waited. The 2, 0 version of you moves. Every day is an invitation to evolve. You can stay loyal to the older version of yourself, or you can betray your limitations and awaken your potential. One choice leads to regret, the other leads to respect. So I'll ask you again, but this time with conviction, why not be the person your future self thanks you for? Why not be the example your family never had? Why not be the one who proves that ordinary beginnings can create extraordinary endings? You've been given breath, time, and a mind capable of rewriting your destiny. The question isn't whether you can. The question isn't whether you're worthy. The only real question left, the only one that matters, is why not you? Upgrade your identity before you upgrade your results. Most people attempt to change their lives by focusing on external factors. Getting a better job, making more money, improving their relationships, looking for shortcuts, hacks, or strategies. Yet they overlook the most powerful variable in the equation, who they are. Your identity is the operating system that governs every belief, habit, decision, and action you take. If your identity is built on insecurity, doubt, laziness, or fear, every move you attempt to make will be sabotaged at the root. You can't plant the seeds of success in the soil of a limited self-image and expect a harvest of greatness. You can't build a skyscraper on the foundation of a shack. To upgrade your results, you must first upgrade the person producing them. Identity is invisible, but its consequences are impossible to ignore. It shows up in how you speak, how you dress, how you think, how you handle conflict, how you react to setbacks, and what you expect from yourself. If you believe you are someone destined for average outcomes, your actions will reflect that belief. You will choose comfort over growth, excuses over effort, and immediate pleasure over long-term reward. You will hesitate when it's time to take risks. You will abandon commitments the moment discomfort arrives. That's not because you lack discipline. It's because your identity doesn't match the person required to execute those decisions. Every result in your life is simply evidence of the identity you've been loyal to up until now. Upgrading your identity means challenging the assumptions and stories you tell yourself. It means breaking the narrative that you are not enough, not ready, not capable, not worthy. Those thoughts didn't come from truth. They came from repetition. Identity is formed by three things: what you repeatedly do, what you repeatedly tell yourself, and what you repeatedly tolerate. If you tolerate weakness, you become weak. If you tolerate excuses, you become the person who always has reasons and never has results. If you tolerate distractions, your dreams won't survive the noise. The world doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what your identity believes you deserve. Consider the people who changed their lives dramatically. They didn't just adopt new habits. They became someone who no longer recognized the old version of themselves. They didn't see themselves as someone trying to lose weight. They became athletes. They didn't see themselves as someone trying to make money. They became entrepreneurs. They didn't see themselves as someone trying to build confidence. They became leaders. Their identity shifted first, and behavior followed. Behavior without identity alignment is temporary. Identity with aligned behavior is unstoppable. You can follow the best plans, join the best programs, hang around successful people, and still fail if you secretly believe you're not the type of person who wins. That inner conflict will always drag you back to your comfort zone. The mind craves consistency, even if that consistency is destroying your future. It prefers familiar misery over unfamiliar possibility. Upgrading your identity is an act of rebellion against the old version of you that survived, but never thrived. It's a declaration that you refuse to be the prisoner of old stories. Your identity is shaped by evidence, and evidence is created by action. You don't become confident by thinking about confidence. You earn it by doing things that prove you can trust yourself. You don't become disciplined by reading about discipline. You become disciplined by showing up when the old you would have quit. Every time you act in alignment with your future identity, you weaken the grip of your previous one. The old version of you wants to stay comfortable. The upgraded version of you wants to stay committed. Every decision you make is a vote for one or the other. Stop saying, "I'm trying." Trying is the language of someone who's unsure. The identity you want to build requires certainty. It requires you to speak differently. I am capable. I am consistent. I am the type of person who finishes what I start. Your mind listens to your words. If you speak weakness, your identity becomes weak. If you speak strength, your identity evolves. The world is shaped by people who first spoke their future into existence, then backed it up with relentless action. Who you tell yourself you are becomes who you become. Environment plays a massive role as well. If everyone around you has a limited identity, you will instinctively adopt that limitation. People who don't believe in themselves will never believe in your transformation. They will try to anchor you to your old identity because it keeps them comfortable. They are not defending truth. They are defending familiarity. Upgrading your identity often requires upgrading your circle. A powerful identity cannot survive in a powerless environment. Surround yourself with people who challenge your excuses, not defend them. Surround yourself with people who remind you of your potential, not your past, and remember this: identity isn't something you are born with. It's something you build. Every day you can recreate yourself. Every day you can choose who you want to be. Most people live life like an inherited script they never question. They wear identities handed to them by parents, society, culture, or their past experiences, and they never stop to ask whether those identities are still serving their goal. If you don't consciously choose your identity, the world will assign one to you, and that identity will never be big enough for your dreams. You must outgrow the old you the same way a snake sheds its skin. The 1.0 version of you was designed for survival. The 2.0 version of you is designed for significance. One protects comfort, the other pursues greatness. One fears failure, the other fears regret. One waits for opportunity, the other creates it. Once your identity shifts, the world won't recognize you. And that's the point. You were never meant to stay the same. You were meant to evolve into someone who looks at their old life and says, "I can't believe I ever settled for that." When you finally upgrade your identity, your results have no choice but to upgrade with it. The job changes, the income changes, the relationships change, the confidence changes, and suddenly the same challenges that once intimidated you now look small compared to the person you've become. The world responds differently to someone who knows who they are. The real transformation happens the moment you stop trying to improve your life using the identity of someone who never believed they could win. You cannot outperform your identity. You will never experience results higher than the person you believe yourself to be. Upgrade the identity, and the results will chase you. Every outcome you desire is waiting on the version of you willing to claim it. Version 2.0 of you requires new habits, not old excuses. Most people never realize that their future isn't determined by dreams, intentions, or wishes, but by the patterns they repeat every single day. Habits are the architecture of transformation. They are the unseen blueprint shaping your identity, your confidence, your potential, and every result you will ever produce. If you want a different life, you cannot build it using the same routines that built the current one. A new identity demands new behaviors. You can't expect to break through limitations while dragging the chains of old habits behind you. Every excuse you defend is a brick in the wall separating you from the future you say you want. Excuses are emotional justifications for inaction. They feel rational, they sound believable, and they protect your ego from discomfort. But excuses are poison disguised as logic. They whisper that you'll start tomorrow, that conditions aren't right, that you're too tired, too busy, too inexperienced, too unlucky. Excuses comfort you for a moment, but cost you a lifetime. They don't just delay your progress, they destroy your identity. Every time you choose excuses over execution, you reinforce a belief that you are someone who can't be counted on. You train your mind to accept mediocrity as normal. Excuses give temporary relief but permanent regret. Habits, on the other hand, are the silent proof of personal evolution. They don't care about motivation, mood, or circumstances. Habits are systems that act even when your feelings don't cooperate. Anyone can work when they feel inspired. The upgraded version of you works regardless. The difference between the person who wins and the person who watches others win is simple. Habits. Winners aren't born disciplined. Discipline becomes a habit. Confidence becomes a habit. Consistency becomes a habit. Excellence becomes a habit. The life you want is not hiding behind a lucky break. It's hiding behind routines you haven't mastered yet. Your old habits were designed for the person you used to be. They were built around comfort, convenience, and survival. Version 2.0 isn't built for survival. It's built for dominance. It's built for impact, influence, and results. But you cannot unlock that new version while indulging in the behaviors that produce the old life. You cannot wake up late, say yes to distractions, procrastinate on your responsibilities, and expect to suddenly become unstoppable. Transformation doesn't begin with external success, it begins with internal structure. If the structure doesn't change, nothing changes. Think about this. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you are becoming. When you wake up early, you cast a vote for discipline. When you avoid gossip, you cast a vote for leadership. When you learn instead of scrolling mindlessly, you cast a vote for growth. When you keep promises to yourself, you cast a vote for confidence. Your votes accumulate, your habits become evidence. Over time, the evidence becomes identity. That is how the 2.0 version of you is built, not through massive changes overnight, but through consistent decisions that prove you're done living as the outdated version of yourself. Old excuses are seductive because they require nothing from you. They give you permission to stay the same. They convince you that the circumstances are to blame, not you. They ensure that your potential remains unused, untouched, and untested. But excuses don't just slow you down. They camouflage fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of success, fear of responsibility, fear of becoming someone who no longer fits into your old environment. Excuses protect your comfort zone, but comfort zones are invisible prisons disguised as safety. Nothing grows in comfort, nothing evolves in comfort. Dreams suffocate in comfort. To adopt new habits, you must first accept that your current lifestyle is perfectly designed for the results you have right now. If you want better, you need to create an identity where better is non-negotiable. Habits are not about doing more, they are about becoming more. They rewire your brain, reshape your standards, and remove the option of returning to who you used to be. Without habits, success becomes emotional. With habits, success becomes inevitable. Motivation is temporary, momentum is earned, but discipline is forever. Version 2.0 of you operates with precision. It doesn't negotiate with laziness. It doesn't debate with doubt. It doesn't waste energy proving anything to others. It proves everything through action. It knows that habits don't lie. You can talk ambition, post ambition, dream ambition, but your habits expose the truth. Your habits reveal whether your goals are fantasies or commitments. The most successful people don't rely on motivation because motivation is inconsistent. They rely on routines, systems, disciplines, and standards that pull them forward even on days when they don't feel like moving. The upgraded version of you cannot coexist with your old excuses. One will destroy the other. Either your excuses will kill your potential, or your habits will kill your excuses. That's the battle. That's the separation point. Every transformation journey has a moment where you realize nobody is coming to rescue you. No one is going to do the work for you. The habits that change your life must be built by you, repeated by you, and protected by you. Habits are not something you try. They are something you become. When you adopt the right habits, success stops being a pursuit and becomes a byproduct. If you want wealth, learn the habits of wealth. If you want strength, adopt the habits of strength. If you want respect, practice the habits of self-respect. Desire without habits is fantasy. Habits without excuses is evolution. You're not in a battle with the world. You're in a battle with the version of you that prefers easy over necessary. That version must be replaced, not negotiated with. People don't fail because they lack dreams. They fail because they lack habits. They wait for clarity before taking action, not realizing action creates clarity. They wait for confidence before starting, not realizing starting creates confidence. Every upgrade in your life will cost you the behaviors that kept you average. You must sacrifice comfort for character, excuses for execution, inspiration for discipline, and temporary pleasure for permanent power. New habits are the admission price for a new life. The question isn't whether you are capable of becoming the version of you that you imagine. You absolutely are. The question is whether you are willing to abandon the familiar behaviors that sabotage your potential. You cannot install new software on old operating systems. You cannot unlock a new identity with the same habits that built the old one version too. Zero lives inside you, waiting to be activated, waiting for you to choose action over excuses, progress over delay, habits over hope. One day, people will look at you and wonder how you changed so much. They won't understand that it wasn't magic, luck, or timing. It was habits. Quiet, consistent, unglamorous habits that rebuilt your identity from the ground up, long before anyone could see the results. The old you blamed circumstances. The new you builds regardless of circumstances. The old you waited. The new you executes. And once new habits take over, the old version of you no longer stands a chance. Your competition is not others. It's your previous self. Most people waste their energy comparing themselves to friends, coworkers, trends, and strangers on social media, completely unaware that the only real opponent they face is the version of themselves they allow to persist. Comparison is a trap designed to distract you from your true mission. It takes your eyes off your progress and convinces you to measure your worth against someone else's timeline. But here's the truth. Your life is not a race against others. Your life is a relentless contest between who you were yesterday and who you choose to become today. The moment you understand this, everything changes because you finally start playing the right game. When you focus on others, you lose direction. You chase standards that were never yours, dreams you never wanted, and benchmarks that don't align with your potential. You envy someone's chapter 10 while you're still writing chapter 1. You judge your beginnings against someone's highlight reels, and this comparison creates insecurity, frustration, and paralysis. It strips you of gratitude, blinds you to progress, and convinces you you're not enough. But when you realize your only competitor is your former self, competition becomes clarity, progress becomes personal, growth becomes measurable. You stop asking, "Am I better than them?" and start asking, "Am I better than who I used to be?" Your previous self is the only version of you with the right to challenge your future. That version knows your patterns, your weaknesses, your excuses, your habits, and your history. It knows exactly where you tend to stop, where you sabotage your momentum, where you fold under pressure, where you settle for comfort, and where you talk yourself out of opportunity. That version of you is the opponent you must defeat daily. Every single morning, the old you wakes up ready to drag you back into familiar routines, reminding you of your limits, whispering old doubts and outdated beliefs. If you do not intentionally rise above that voice, you will remain stuck in cycles that feel safe but suffocate your destiny. Your past self loves comfort. Your future self requires courage. The old version of you negotiates with excuses, but the upgraded version demands execution. Your growth depends on your willingness to outwork your history, outthink your fears, and outgrow your patterns. That means doing things your old version would never do. Waking up earlier, studying more, taking risks, making decisions faster, staying consistent, and embracing discomfort. It means breaking habits that feel familiar but lead nowhere. It means letting go of people who loved the weaker, quieter, hesitant version of you, because not everyone is meant to evolve with you. The dangerous thing about competing with others is that it lowers your ceiling. If all you want is to be a little better than someone beside you, your ambition becomes limited. But when your competition is your former self, there is no ceiling. There is no limit. The only boundary is the one you impose on your imagination. When you fight to outperform who you were yesterday, you enter a lifelong pursuit of mastery. You become obsessed with personal excellence, not external validation. You stop seeking applause because progress becomes the reward. Success becomes internal, not performative. You no longer need someone else to lose in order for you to win. Every day offers you an opportunity to beat your past. If you used to quit when things got hard, keep going today. If you used to procrastinate for hours, take action today. If you used to collapse under pressure, remain calm today. Victory isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle. One more rep at the gym, one more hour of study, one more phone call, one less excuse, one simple act of discipline. These small wins compound over time and turn into monumental transformations. You don't need to change everything at once. You just need to consistently outperform your old version. Some people hate watching others succeed because they believe success is limited, as if someone else's victory steals from their own potential, but that mindset is flawed. No one can take what belongs to you. No one can outcompete a person committed to evolving. If someone else is winning, it doesn't mean you're losing. It means the game is possible. Their success is proof that greatness is available. But while others might spark your inspiration, your transformation begins the moment you decide that your old limits are unacceptable. Your previous self is the gatekeeper of your potential. It will test your patience, question your intentions, and challenge your resolve. It will tempt you to settle, distract you with convenience, and lure you back into habits that feel safe but cost you everything. To win this battle, you must adopt a mindset of relentless improvement. You must become allergic to stagnation. You must refuse to repeat the same mistakes, tolerate the same excuses, or accept the same standards. The person you were last week, last month, last year should be embarrassed by the person you are becoming. Growth requires separation from old stories, old beliefs, and old versions of yourself that no longer deserve a seat at your table. People often think success is about beating others, but the truth is simpler. Success is about beating the person who looks back at you in the mirror. That reflection holds two possibilities: your greatest threat or your greatest ally. The world is filled with people who won competitions against others but lost the war against themselves. They gained trophies yet remained prisoners of their old identity. That's not success. True success is internal alignment, becoming someone you respect, someone you're proud of, someone your future self will thank you for. Imagine waking up 5 years from now and realizing the only thing that ever stood between you and the life you wanted was the outdated version of you that you protected for too long. Imagine what would happen if every day you made it your mission to take one more step, make one more decision, build one more habit, and push one more boundary beyond what yesterday's version of you believed was possible. Imagine living with such intentional growth that your old self becomes unrecognizable. That's evolution. That's competition at the highest level. That's where greatness begins. Your life will not change because someone else succeeds or fails. It will change the moment you accept full responsibility for your growth. No excuses, no comparison, no distractions. You cannot become the best version of yourself while living as the old one. You cannot outrun others if you can't outrun your past. The upgraded version of you is waiting, and the only person who can unlock it, challenge it, and become it is the person staring back at you right now.